Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to go through what I read in August and my star ratings for all of the books that I read. I read a total of 10 books in August, 7 physical books and 3 Kindle books. Some of my physical books I did actually read on my Kindle, but I have the physical copy that I was also kind of reading out of, so if I read even just like a chapter out of a physical book, I've counted it as I read it as the physical book, not the Kindle book. I'm going to be starting with the Kindle books first. I read Broken by Evelyn something or another. I'll put the picture up here with the actual author's name. I gave that book a 2.75 stars. Purely and simply, I was like, as one does on TikTok, just scrolling through and getting book recommendations. And I got this book recommendation, and it was like some sort of college football romance or whatever. But the title was Broken. So I was like, I went to Amazon and I typed in Broken, but I hadn't like realised who the author was. It was also Evelyn, I believe, or something or another. So I was like, okay, fine, that seems like the book. So I bought it and I read it and I was like, something's not adding up here. Like, I still enjoyed it, but it was, my enjoyment got taken down a bit because the description didn't match, but that was because they were two separate books. Because the book that I saw the recommendation for, but you had to read on a different app or whatever, and I wasn't going to do that. But yeah, I did still enjoy it, but the characters kind of irked me. It was slightly annoying, but it was still good. So honestly, I have no complaints about that mishap. Then the next Kindle book that I read was Road Rules by, I have no idea who the author was. Sorry, once again I'll put it on the screen. And I rated Road Rules 3.75 stars. Road Rules is an romance, hockey romance, like ice hockey, best friends to lovers, and it was honestly delightful. I really enjoyed it. It was so cute, and I loved the fact that like their entire team genuinely thought they'd been dating since college, and just in this book they are like 30-year-olds. The entire time they've been on this hockey team, everybody thought they were dating when they had not in fact been dating. I loved it so much. And then the last Kindle book that I read was Dirty Curve by Megan Brandy, and I gave that book a 3 stars. I did enjoy it. Putting it out there, 3 stars is not a bad rating at all. It is actually quite a good rating. It wasn't quite for me. I do like myself a sports romance, and this was definitely a sports romance. It was baseball, and I do like the single parent trope, which this also had, but I don't know, something was off, something was missing. Could not tell you what. Definitely not the best thing I've ever read, but also not the worst thing I've ever read. So, you know, we had to go right in the middle, 3 stars. Neither good, neither bad. I did enjoy it. Would I recommend it to somebody else? Possibly, if you want a baseball romance with a single parent trope, I would honestly recommend it. I'm not sure if there's a trigger warning or whatever, but you might want to look into that. Let's get on to the physical books that I read in August. We shall be starting on the top of this. These are not like in chronological order. Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. I was reading this as part of a video that probably will never be published. Maybe, who knows, if I end up finishing the entire series, because it was a case of the video was me reading the entire series, but as we can see, I've only read the first one. I remember the first time I read this book, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I gave it like a 4.75 or a 5 stars at that point. The second time around, because I knew what was going to happen, it was genuinely not as good, and I gave it a 3.25 stars. I think I've already told you guys, but my star ratings are based on how much I enjoy it, not how great the book was or that kind of stuff, just how much I personally enjoyed it. Sometimes if the book was written terribly or that kind of stuff, it will impact my rating, but most of the time I will be rating it on how much I enjoyed it. It wasn't as great or as memorable as I remember it being, hence the reason there was also a couple of points doxed, because it did not live up to what I thought it was going to be. I do hope the rest of the series gets better. Next up, we have Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I gave this book a 4.75 stars. I personally could read an extra 200 pages of this couple, like, and then you would wonder why I didn't give it a 5 stars. It didn't give me the 5-star feeling. I was contemplating giving it a 5 stars, but I was like, if it's a 5 stars, I usually know at about like kind of halfway through, if not earlier, and then unless something really bad happens, it's going to stay at 5 stars, and like I know when I finish the book it's a 5 stars, but like considering I was contemplating if I should give it a 5 stars or not, I could not give it a 5 stars. Next up we have The Cozy Cottage in Ireland by Julie Kaplan. I thoroughly enjoy her like writing style and the stories that she makes. Yeah, as you can guess, this is a romance book set in Ireland in a cozy cottage. Who could have guessed? While I was reading this, I was actually in Ireland in a tiny cottage. I know, ironic. And I also thoroughly enjoyed it because there was the cooking aspect to this book, and if you don't know, I really like to bake and cook and all that kind of stuff. So I did thoroughly enjoy this book. Once again, did not give me the 5-star feelings, so 4.75 for this one. Next up, we have My Baby. This is Apprentice to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer. As we can see from all of the tabs that I have in this book, I say all of the tabs, there aren't actually that many tabs in this book. It has my heart. Apprentice to the Villain and Assistant to the Villain, they are so fun. Like, funny, witty, it's a good old time basically. Just one thing to keep in mind, if you don't like slow burn romances, don't read this. This is the second book, and like I think only about this part we got a tiny bit of romance. So if that's not your thing, don't read it. But if it is, or if you don't mind, please consider giving this a chance. I thoroughly enjoyed this book, 5 stars. Next up, we have Kingdom of Flesh and Fire by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is the second book in the Blood and Ash series. I do have a couple of qualms about the book, just purely and simply that this basically was the same conversation being had in different places, and then we'd resolve it, and then like 10 pages later we'd have the same conversation again. Slightly annoying. I honestly don't mind because I really like the characters in this book, and there was honestly a ton of world building and character development. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I gave it a 4.75 stars. Then I read Worth a Shot by Amy Ewing. This is also set in Ireland, and I bought and read this in Ireland. That probably added to my enjoyment of this book, and I gave it a 4 stars. The last book I read in August was A Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. This is the second book in the Six of Crows trilogy. I must say, I enjoyed this book more than Six of Crows, but I read the Six of Crows over the span of probably like a month or two, which not my smartest idea. Genuinely not my smartest thing to do. And this one I read within like a week, so all of the information was fresh, because it gets confusing. If you leave the book for like weeks and then pick it back up again, you go, I have no idea who you are, I have no idea where we're going, I have no idea what we're doing. So I'd suggest reading it in 1 or 2 sittings basically, otherwise it gets confusing. I gave this book a 4.25 stars. These are 7 of the 10 books that I read in August. The other 3 are on Kindle, so I don't have them physically here with me. I must say August was a very good reading month for me, and I hope September is an even better or equal reading month for me. If you enjoy bookish vlogs, bookish weeks in my life and that kind of stuff, please do stick around, because those are the kind of contents that I make. Well, thank you for watching. Please do subscribe if bookish content is your thing, and I will see you next week. Goodbye.